Yesterday, speculation that the Middle East situation would hurt the president's chances, perhaps, in passing reconciliation, at least in part because he's distracted. I think most people now think, it's assuming the ceasefire holds, that he goes in with a stronger hand as a hero of the operation and undistracted once he's back from NATO. We talk here quite a bit about two prospects. One, that the Senate might roll the House, jam them by passing a version of reconciliation and leave the House no choice but to pass it. And the other is the concept, a fantasy for many, that there'll be a conference committee that would adjudicate differences between the House and Senate bill. Here's Punchbowl News and their reporting this morning. Breaking news, significant to those of us who follow those two issues, that in fact, John Thune, according to Punchbowl, does plan to jam the House of Lords, once again saying our way or the highway. During Monday night's Senate conference meeting, Bill Cassidy stood up for his fellow Louisiana Republican, Speaker Johnson, and insisted that the House won't be able to pass what Senate Republicans have been cobbling together, citing the Senate's stricter crackdown on Medicaid provider taxes. Thune responded by saying the House will ultimately accept what the Senate passed, according to three senators in the room. We call that jamming. Several GOP senators told us they came away from the meeting, and this interaction in particular, with the impression that Thune is angling to use a substantial leverage to dare the House to reject any Senate-passed bill, especially with the president eager to sign it by July 4. Working in Thune's favor here is the fact that no GOP lawmaker, Sean, are you listening, wants a formal conference or a ping pong between the two chambers, which means they keep passing each other's versions of the different versions of the bill till somebody blinks. Republican senators are getting frustrated with the House Salt Caucus refusal to accept a compromise proposal. So, Dan, we all still think it's going to pass. Is there, what would you say the chances are that the House allows Leader Thune to jam them and they simply pass the Senate version?
I think the question is, where is Trump on this? Because I actually think now that, again, assuming the peace deal holds, when there was a bumpy road, the imperative to get this done as soon as possible, have something good to trumpet this summer, I think was even greater. Now they've got something that they can go around and kind of sell for a little bit. The only thing that I think, the only difference I have with this view with Thune is the Salt Caucus can dig in, not agree to it, and if everything ultimately expired, play it out, they win because Salt goes to everyone gets it back. So I think whatever.
Well, but their constituents' tax rates go up too.
Right, but I mean, I think whatever Trump will decide, I'm either with the House or the Senate. To me, whenever he leans in, they all fold.
So you think if Trump says the Senate's going to jam you, Mr. Speaker, the House can pass it? If Trump says so?
I think he says, give me the whip list and I will wear, they won't get everybody, but they'll get enough.
Yeah. Sean?
Look, by the way, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, the most important person in Washington that no one knows right now is Elizabeth McDonough, the Senate parliamentarian. And she has been ruling committee by committee what's put in and out of this bill. It's the way reconciliation works is quirky and weird. It has to do with not allowing new policy to be made.
Pardon to interrupt. While Sean talks, please put up CNBC so we can see the market open. Go ahead, Sean.
And so the problem right now is that she keeps clawing back things that the Senate needed for deficit reduction, saying that it's policy that they're making, and you're not allowed to do that in reconciliation. It's one of the nuances. And so the level of gimmickry that is going on right now is astounding. I talked about this weeks and probably months ago about the tax provisions, and this is now what's happening with the SALT, the state and local tax deduction, which is if you allow Mark Wayne Mullen, by the way, deserves a gold star for the work that he's doing to try to get this over the finish line. But they are now creating a thing where they're like, well, we'll get it back to $40,000 in terms of a deduction, but you have to have 3 ears, 2 arms, 14 feet, and in order to take the deduction. And so they're creating ways that politically they could say we got it back to $40,000 deduction, but no one would ever be able to take it. I don't think Mike Lawler's going to buy in on it. I will give them credit. They're trying to do as much as they can to get there. You'll find out if the Senate can pass it. The Tom Tillis comments yesterday make it very hard for me to believe that he can be swayed yes on the Medicare stuff. So the big hurdle, if Thune gets it through, I think there's a 50-50 chance. But remember, the way this is going to have to happen is you're going to have to get Johnson to agree to pass this like Friday night going into the weekend of 4th of July weekend. I just don't see it. They get an A for effort. It's just you're really trying to shoot a cannonball through a needle's eye.
Well, and I want to just say too, because I've been very hard on the Democrats. If they pass the Senate version, those attack ads on Medicaid are going to sink so many people. The reason Kennedy and the speaker are saying what they are, one of the states that's going to be hit hardest is Louisiana. It is going to pummel southern states. That is not hyperbole. That is a fact.
Okay, a bunch.
By the way, this reminds me, I should have sold all of my oil stocks yesterday, right when the deal was announced.
It's a good long-term hold.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.